The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Summary and analysis. Hello and welcome to the discourse. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and its sequel, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, are considered the best works of Mark Twain. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer was the first novel to be written on typewriter, and while it failed to gain success during the initial days, it eventually proved to be the most successful novel of Mark Twain, only to be surpassed by Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. The book has some autobiographical events. The novel is set in the town of St. Petersburg, Hannibal, Missouri, where Mark Twain spent his boyhood. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is written in third-person narrative, while Mark Twain chose to write the sequel, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, in the first-person narrative. Summary of Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer is an orphan who lives with his Aunt Polly. Sid is his half-brother, while Mary is his cousin. Tom is a fun-loving boy who continues mischievous acts, and he is witty enough to avoid any punishment. However, Sid often spills the beans out to catch Tom red-handed. Once Tom Sawyer is bored of school, so he decides to skip school and rather goes to the Mississippi River for swimming. Aunt Molly comes to know about this, and Tom is sentenced to whitewash the whole house fence the next day, which is Saturday. Tom has no choice but to fulfill the task, and he begins to whitewash the fence. However, he is clever enough to attract the attention of neighboring kids and friends from his school, to whom he pretends that he is doing very likable work. Eventually, he tricks the other kids to trade him small trinkets and treasures for the privilege of whitewashing the fence. At the end of the day, he completes the tedious work without actually whitewashing the fence, as it is done by the other kids. In return, he now has a good number of trinkets. Tom then exchanges those trinkets for the Sunday school tickets from boys who got them for memorizing the verses of scripture. Later on, he convinces the minister to award him the prized Bible for all the tickets that he collected. Thus, despite being the worst student at the Sunday school, with almost no knowledge of the Bible, he is announced as the winner of prized Bible and gets praise from the judge, whose daughter is Becky Thatcher. On Monday, Tom tries to avoid school by pretending to be sick, but Aunt Molly catches his act and forces him to go to school. On the way to school, he meets Huckleberry Finn, whose father is a drunkard. Finn's mother died some years back, and hence Finn lives an almost free life. Tom and other boys envy Finn for the adventurous free life he leads. Tom engages him in a discussion on warts, and they decide to go to a cemetery that night to find out some ways to cure warts. At school, Tom continues to show his flamboyance, and there he gets infatuated with Becky Thatcher, whom he finds very pretty. He manages to make friends with her and compels her to kiss him and announce their engagement. However, in his overjoy, he mentions the name of Amy Lawrence, whom he also kissed and got engaged to earlier. This angers Becky, and she breaks up with him. He tries to convince Becky by giving her a gift, but Becky throws his gift away and Tom is heartbroken. Tom meets Huck at the night, and together they visit the cemetery. They expect the graveyard full of ghosts, and both are a little frightened. Before they could begin their ritual to cure warts, they hear some loud voices. The boys hide in fear and see three gravedigger robbers, Injun Joe, a village savage man, Muff Potter, a town drunkard, and Dr. Robinson. The three are trying to dig a grave to steal the valuables from the coffin. The three get engaged in a dispute, and Dr. Robinson hits Muff Potter with a header board and he falls unconscious. On the other hand, Injun Joe grabs the knife of Muff Potter, attacks Robinson and kills him. The boys are witnessing the whole act from their hideout and are shocked. Later on, they learn the plan of Injun Joe, who decides to frame drunk, unconscious Muff Potter for the murder of Robinson. The two boys sneak out of their hideout and go out of the cemetery safely in the morning. They vow to keep mum about the acts of the night to avoid any attention from Injun Joe. When Tom reaches home, he faces Aunt Molly, who shouts at him as she was informed by Sid that he sneaked out of the house for the whole night. Anyhow, he reaches school where he sees Becky, who is still angry. He tries to attract her attention through his boyish acts, but she snubs him. Tom is very sad and depressed. His friend Joe Harper and Huck suggest that they should run away to the jungles of Mississippi River and start a life of vagrant robbers. Tom, Joe, and Huck run away from the society to the isolated Jackson Island. They continue to enjoy their freedom when Tom comes to know that the townspeople are scouring the waters of the river to find their whereabouts. Eventually, they are announced dead, and a joint funeral is held for all the three guys. Tom feels for Aunt Molly and Mary, and the three guys decide to come back, but impressively. The three guys return to the town during the funeral held for them in the church and surprise everyone. Now they are considered heroes who fought against the Mississippi waters. Tom impresses other students with the stories of adventures he had on Jackson Island in the school. He shows them how to smoke. However, he fails to gain the favor of Becky, who is still angry. He learns that Becky tore an important page of a book accidentally, and before she could be punished, he decides to take the blame and is punished by the teacher for tearing the book. Becky gets impressed by this good act by Tom, and she forgives him and they become friends again. Injun Joe pins the murder of Robinson on Muff Potter, who doesn't clearly remembers what happened that night as he was drunk and unconscious. He is about to be sentenced for the murder, but Tom and Huck feel that they should save the innocent by breaking their vow to keep silent about that night's acts. They reveal the truth in the court and save Muff Potter. But Injun Joe manages to run away by jumping out of the window of the courtroom, and he is on the run. Tom and Huck are worried that Injun Joe will take revenge against them for incriminating him. The school closes for the summer vacation. Huck and Tom decide to sneak peek in a haunted house to search for a hidden treasure. They visit the house and reach the upper story while searching for some clues about the treasure. Suddenly, they hear a familiar voice coming from downstairs. They peek through the holes on the floor and see two strange men. One of them is a deaf, dumb Spaniard, but soon they realize that he can speak, and his voice is similar to that of Injun Joe. They realize that Injun Joe is disguised as a deaf, dumb guy to avoid arrest. The boys continue to listen to his talks with other men and come to know that they are planning to hide their valuables of loot in the haunted house. The boys are delighted as they plan to steal the valuables of Injun Joe. The robbers decide to hide $600 in the haunted house, but when they dig a hole in the floor, they find out a treasure box that belonged to the robbers of the past. This treasure is too much valuable than their own $600, and they decide to take all the valuables to some other safer place. The robbers decide to hide the whole treasure in number 2 under the cross. Tom and Huck have no idea about this new place where the treasure will be hidden. Huck decides to find out the place and steal the treasure by following Injun Joe and his associates. Becky returns from her summer vacation and decides to take all her class kids to a picnic. They decide to visit the large McDougall's cave with secret underground passages for adventures. While some adults also go with the kids, Becky and Tom lose their way in the cave and are trapped in the cave as they fail to find a return passage. Some days pass by and Becky and Tom survive with scant water and no food to eat. Becky becomes very weak as Tom continues to try some way out of the cave. On the other hand, Huck continued to follow Injun Joe and his associates to find out the place where they have hidden the treasure from the haunted house. One day he goes to Temperance Tavern where he suspects Joe is hiding. He overhears Joe and his associates planning to attack the house of a rich widow, Douglas, whose late husband was a justice who once sentenced Injun Joe to imprisonment and public whipping. Huck comes to know that the robbers plan to rob widow Douglas's house and to harm her or even kill her as revenge against her late husband. Huck remembers the times when the old widow Douglas showed affection and care towards him in the near past and decides to help her out. But he cannot face the robbers alone, being just a boy. So he runs towards Mr. Jones's house and informs him. Mr. Jones and his two sons hurry over to reach Widow Douglas's house and save her. They scare the robbers away. Injun Joe goes to McDougal's cave in search of a specific place. He also wanders away and loses the exit passage. Tom, in his search, sees a man a little farther away who is also trapped in the cave. He shouts for his help, but the man doesn't realize the boy's voice and he runs in fear. Tom then comes to know that the man was Injun Joe. He is more worried now as he fears if Injun Joe comes to know about him trapped in the cave, he will harm him or even murder him. He decides not to tell about Joe to Becky as she is already very weak. He continues to search for a passage out of the cave more desperately now. Huck is being praised for his bravery and good decision to help Widow Douglas out against the robbers, but the whole town is worried about the missing kids in the McDougal's cave. Everyone reaches there to search for Tom and Becky. Meanwhile, Tom finds a small opening out of the cave and somehow manages to bring Becky and himself out. Becky is too weak, starving and thirsty, and it is no less a miracle that both the kids are safe. Everyone praises them and Justice Thatcher orders the closing of the door of the McDougal's cave to avoid any such accident again. Tom hasn't talked about Injun Joe till now. When he comes to know about the closing of McDougal's cave, he tells about Injun Joe to Justice Thatcher and says that he is still in the cave. Tom, Justice Thatcher and some other adults enter the cave to search for Injun Joe. They find him dead of starvation and thirst in the cave. Tom and Huck think over the situation and make a guess that Joe might have hidden the treasure in McDougal's cave and that is why he went there. The cave is sealed now, but Huck and Tom decide to enter through a secret passage to search for the treasure. After some hard efforts, they get the box of treasure hidden in the cave and come out with it. Huck and Tom are now self-made rich persons as they have $600 of Injun Joe's loot and the treasure worth some $12,000. However, Huck isn't much happy. Widow Douglas decides to adopt Huck as her own son to provide him better education and a permanent house as a reward to save her against the robbers. Huck has got a house, but he lost the adventurous freedom he so enjoyed and admired. He asks Tom to run away with him. Tom somehow manages to calm Huck down and manages to convince him to live with Widow Douglas as her adopted son. He promises Huck that he will soon make a robbers band and Huck can join them later on. Reluctantly, Huck agrees to wait for the right opportunity and decides to live with Widow Douglas and the novel ends. Mark Twain wrote this first novel of the series in third-person narrative but changed it to the first-person narrative in the second novel, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which is a sequel. The first-person narrative described the moral dilemma of the novels in a much better manner. We will discuss Adventures of Huckleberry Finn in the next session. Please stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.